Hey guys, it's Daniel from Valve Tec, and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I thought it would be rather interesting to open up a bit of a discussion, more directed towards new players coming into Team Fortress 2, and just some of the general mental notes they should be aware of when kind of first stepping into the game. So, to start off, Team Fortress 2 as a game is very conceptual and situational, and with all the different maps, modes, weapons, and classes, it can be very difficult for a new player to get a grasp on all the moving parts that makes up this wacky class-based shooter, and adapt to the constantly changing environment. Now, one of the first things I wanted to discuss is the importance of visual awareness, because it's one of arguably the most important concepts to understand in this game. As a member of whichever side of the team you're playing on, and whatever mode you're playing, being on your toes for whatever happens is something that you should always be prepared for. Even if you don't understand what is fully going on, the new player could even use some of the most basic and obvious visual cues, such as the team color or objective status. What I mean more specifically by this is that if you see your team getting wiped, or if you see your team wiping the enemy, it should give you a good indicator without even having to look hardly at your screen about the current situation and status of the fight. However, if you see the cart moving for an example from the enemy, or if you walk out of spawn and see the entire blue team setting up shop outside your doors, it'll give you a clear indicator that you should requeue because Valve has horrible casual balance. I'm just kidding, but it's important to constantly be looking around and taking in information for both yourself and your team. Unlike literally every other first-person shooter, TF2 grants you no minimap or radar of some sorts, so it's pretty much down to audio and visual cues. The default HUD does have a status bar for both teams, so you can tell how many teammates you have, if they are alive or dead, what class they're playing, their health. You pretty much get the general idea and the general scope of what your team is currently doing. And considering TF2 is just a constant game of intelligence, as a new player, it's important to make sure you're sharing information for your team, whether it be through voice chat or just a simple text bind. Communication is key, especially among your teammates if you want to constantly be prepared for whatever the enemy has planned. To go off of that, you need to put the information into action, and what I mean by that is you should utilize the information and work out with it. For an example, if you called an enemy spy to your team, it's important you start to look around or start checking your back every once in a while, or even if somebody else on your team calls it out, you want to constantly be aware of that. Most of the time they'll tell you if they are specifically around you, so you want to just be constantly aware and utilizing the information you or your teammates provide for yourself. The main word you should constantly keep in mind while playing, especially as a new player in your mind, is to adapt, because that really is the name of the game in Team Fortress 2. It's assessing the current situation and based on the information gathered, and adapting to the conditions of the fight, or even dependent on what class you're playing. As you explore more into what each class does and how he operates, you will notice that the situational factor will vary heavily from player to player. Where a heavy might find a pyro an easy cleanup kill, a spy may find that as a factor to actively avoid as to not get burned to shreds. Or where a scout may find a sniper an easy pick, a heavy may be constantly working around the map and outside of his sight line to actively avoid getting his head blown off. It's the little decisions like that as you continue to play and build off the game, you will start to actually make more consciously, just more smarter decisions that in the long run will just make you a better player and you can stay alive a lot longer. It's in your head, you gotta make those on-the-fly decisions that will be the best in the interest of you and your team. And as you, like I said, as you continue to grow as a player, you will consciously start to make more smart and efficient decisions that will in turn not only improve yourself, but just the amount of matches you're winning, the current status of your team. It's all a domino effect once you kind of learn the general mindset for this game. And I get it, and I've been there. Being a new player in this game is hard, and taking the time to recognize the situational chaos of this game and adapt to it with all the different weapons, maps, modes, classes, everything, it can be even harder. So I thought I could just take some of the time to briefly explain this. I have plans to go more depth with this in my starter guide series, which will be coming sometime this month. I just wanted to sort of start all of this off with a little commentary. I'll be making some more in-depth mindset videos in the future, but I wanted to make this mindset video short and sweet so that any new player can kind of understand what I'm getting at. Of course, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. Other than that, guys, thank you all so much. We are almost at 700 subscribers, which is insane. I can't believe it. If you haven't already joined my Steam group, we just got our 30th member, so I would highly recommend you go check that out. Also, if you could head over to my Twitter and drop that a quick follow, I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm always posting updates about everything here and there. So, yeah, other than that, guys, I would seriously like to thank you all for watching. Tomorrow I might be live streaming, or I might just have another video out, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, yeah, and until next time, guys, thank you, and have a good day.